Here we have Greewhiz, and Wiz is a 16.3 and a half hand 5-year-old thoroughbred gelding by Greeley's Conquest, which is a Mr. Greeley's line, who I tend to really like these guys. They are on average better than average movers, and this kid certainly falls into line. He's a really nice mover and some wonderful natural suspension, and just as he figures out sort of how to use himself and how everything works together, he's really going to be exceptional. And he also is out of an Uncle Mo mare on the bottom line. So he's having his third post-track ride. He had 35 career starts. His last one was 2 weeks ago on May 15th. And he settled in really nicely to post-track life. I will say one other side note on him. Well, apologies if you can hear my basset hound who's crying in the background. But so he has an osselet, a left front osselet, which is old and set and obviously not bothering him at all. He's extremely sound. And these things, once they're set, they don't bother horses as they go on in their careers. I mean, one of my personal horses, Sunshine Dandy, has a left front osselet, and he's currently going modified, moving up to prelim soon, and has aspirations to continue climbing the upper levels. So these things sort of kind of like a splint, once they're set, the likelihood of them causing an issue down the line is very slim. But I will say that actually I had it radiographed yesterday because it doesn't look exactly like the quintessential osselet that I'm used to seeing. Like Bullet Breeze, for example, he has a left front osselet, and it looks like just the absolutely normal osselet that I'm used to seeing. But Wiz's looked a little odd, so I wanted to take a radiograph to make sure that everything was okay, and that as I'm saying that this is no big deal, that the radiograph agrees with that statement. And his looks a little different because it's actually a higher osselet. It's well above the joint, and usually they're below the joint. So actually the radiograph is great. It is an osselet. It is what you would expect to see in sort of a smaller to moderately sized osselet, but it is well above the joint, not interfering at all in the joint space or with his movement. So everything is fine, and I'm happy to share those radiographs with people who are interested. So I was very happy with Wiz today because he started to access his top line for the first time. Actually, he was funny because the first two rides, his left shoulder was the shoulder he wanted to be heavy on. So we spent a lot of time getting up off the left shoulder. And then today he came out and he did a flip-flop, and he was very straight on the left shoulder, and he wanted to lean on the right shoulder. So going to the left, he wanted to fall a bit to the outside, and going to the right, he wanted to fall to the inside. So it's just funny how, they swap back and forth, the pendulum swings. I actually consider it success when the pendulum swings because change is progress. And so for him to have pivoted to something else now to need to work on is actually good. It means we're heading in a forward progression. And so we spent a lot of time today working on getting up off the right shoulder. And when I did finally get him straight, straight moving forward off of both shoulders, he actually started to access his top line for, I think, the first time, and it felt pretty awesome. And he was even showing a couple little signs of wanting to find some stretch, and mostly that was here to the right. And it was only to the right because we did our left work first, and then we went to the right. So sort of as the ride progressed and he got better, it made sense that he ended the best, of course. And it just happened to be going to the right. I don't think it has anything to do with right versus left direction. He also, hand in hand with doing some nice work over his top line, did some really nice canter work. And this horse cracks me up because he is a big horse. He's just a little bit under 17 hands, and he's a big natural mover. He has suspension, all these things. But he actually is such a leg ride. I mean, if you look at my lower leg as I'm riding him, I'm certainly having to put my leg on the entire time, and especially in the canter. We actually spent a bit of time just working on the fact that when we're cantering, you have to keep cantering until I ask you to stop cantering. And so he's just funny about that. So, none of my horses are suitable for beginners, but he's really not suitable for a timid rider because just of, what he naturally is. He's a big horse who has a big, beautiful movement, and those things tend to make nervous riders more nervous. But for a confident rider who wants a horse with a quieter brain where you really get to put your leg on, he is absolutely that. He takes quite a bit of leg, especially in the canter. But actually, it was good today because today I felt like for the first time I really sort of really sat up and said, okay, come on, we got to come together in this canter. We got to start to use ourselves a little bit. We can't just coast around in a half seat. And I thought I really got some nice work out of him. Of course, there we break. So then I have to take a moment to reorganize, find the canter again. And so here he's giving me some really nice steps. And so in these moments here, I can really feel him using his whole self all across his top line. It feels very wonderful. Super, super uphill balance canter. Very easy and comfortable to sit, but takes quite a bit of leg. And so there he thought about breaking. I caught it before he broke. And then here he comes right back around to a really nice canter. I absolutely love this. So you can't be afraid to put your leg on with this horse. Big fancy moving horse requires quite a bit of leg, which is wonderful. I mean, I always prefer horses where you're putting your leg on and you get to feel like you get to jazz them up. And here he just ended with a little nice trot work on a loopier rein. And he was an excellent boy. He's coming along nicely.